Okay, guys, sorry for that short break. Right. So, um, as I was saying, if you want to like create a database on MySQL, rather than using just your mouse on ProgreSQL, in a MySQL you have to write the code, create database, and then you have to select the database. For instance, now, yeah, there was one scenario that happened in during an interview. I was part of the panel. So this person came to the interview room. They were all given a system, a PC, and then they were given specific instructions. And part of the instruction is that for them to write a simple query that will pull out some particular information for a period for a particular period of years, and they have just 30 minutes. Meanwhile, if you are a professional and you've been working, you know your way around SQL, right? That task should not take you more than, let's say, even if you're having a hard time and it was not a database that you created by yourself, it should not you should be able to figure it out in 5 minutes and then be done with the task in, like, let's say, 15 minutes tops. But we still give them an excess time of 30 minutes. So we wrote out, well, we read out all the instructions that this is what it is expected of them to do and all those stuff. Nothing more. So the first person came, struggled with it, and that by the time the 30 minutes permissible time elapsed, the person was still in the process of figuring out how to even go about it. I'm guessing anxiety or something like that. But I had to discover that most people they don't feel convenient or comfortable on a database that they are not the one that created it, or something that they are not used to. Whereas your ability to work on something is what is going to first of all get you the attraction, get you the attention before you can now start to use your own method. It's just like a fresh graduate. Before you can hope to get a job, you have there is an expectation that you have the certificate already. The certificate will get you the interview. The certificate and your resume will get you the interview. Then when you get the interview session, then you get the job. Then you can now get trained on the job. Ideally, as a database handler, first thing first, whenever you are faced with that kind of situation, the first thing that should come to your mind is, sorry, what kind of SQL variant are you guys using? As a matter of fact, by the time they put it in front of you, you should be able to figure it out whether they are using the most common SQL variants are this MySQL, the ProgreSQL Workbench. I like this the dark theme for this for my ProgreSQL because I work very well with it. And then there's my SQL Workbench. You can see there is a difference between these two, like their interface. They both have a very good interface, but ProgreSQL has even a very friendly, user-friendly interface. And the SQL, like it is rightly called SQL, structured query language. That is, it is meant for structured information, structured data and databases. And companies that use structured, almost every company use structured databases, except AI companies that uses NoSQL. They are the ones that use Mongo database, because Mongo database can store not only structured tables or structured informations, they can also store images, JSON, HTML, and all those stuff like that. So ideally, as a database handler, whenever you are faced with that kind of challenge, the first thing that should come to your mind is the moment you see the PC is placed in front of you, you need to be able to recognize the kind of SQL variant you are going to be working with or they adopt in the company, be it MySQL like this or ProgreSQL. And then the next thing is you need to first of all run this particular code here. Always run this particular code on any database you are working on. Yeah, on any SQL variant you are working on, be it MySQL or PostgreSQL, but this code will not run on PostgreSQL. But you can do this with a mouse on PostgreSQL. But on every other variant of SQL, always run this code for show databases. Show database bases, yeah, and then you run the code here. So when you run the code, you see all the available database on that PC you are working with. This is your first point of action as a database handler. Always know what is going on. We just said, okay, there is a database on our PC and there are tables, there are data on those databases. And in those data, we want you will find a particular table named logistics, and the logistic table has about information of 10 years. So we want you to write a query that is going to pull out the logistic information for our clients in the United States, pulling out their logistic information for like 3 years, working from 2013 to 2016. Go. It is a simple query, but the process that will lead you to it is what could be a problem for you. The process you are going to follow is what could be a problem to you. So in order not to be faced with that particular problem, we didn't mention the database name, but we know very, very well that on this particular local instance port, we have a single database there, but we didn't mention the database name. So in that case, the first thing you need to do is to run your show databases. By the time you run your show databases code, you will see all the databases that are available on that system. And there's something that I like to always mention, that if you are running a code, just like I mentioned about mathematics, if you are running a code on SQL and you are seeing green like this, you will always be happy because that means you are doing everything right. But the moment you start seeing red, it is not so tough. You just have to follow the error code, because every red means an error code. Means the code you're trying to run is not valid. It's not valid. So when you run your show databases, you would see on the result grid, you will see every database that is available on this PC. You see all the databases that are available there. So when you see the database, then you will choose the database you want to work on particularly. You choose the database that you want to work on particularly. That is where you are going to run. After you have showed databases and you've seen the database you want to work on, then the next thing is you have to select that database. This is MySQL now, not PostgreSQL that we are working with, MySQL now. Then you will use that, you will run this code, use database, use the name of that database, use the name of that database. So when you run this now, and then it is successful, it means all the codes that you are about to write is going to store itself on this database that you have just selected. In PostgreSQL, you don't need to go through all those processes. All you have to do is just to come to your server, this server, open down your server, come to your databases, then you will see, if you cannot see your database here, just come to your database tab, right click and refresh. You will see the database you need to work on. You will see all the available databases on that system. So when you refresh, you see the database. Just come to the database, select on the database, and then enter your query tool here. When you enter your query tool here, it opens a query editor for you. Then you can start writing your code. And if you want to see the tables that are available on that particular database, if you want to see the tables that are available on that particular database, all you have to do is just to come to those show tables. All these show tables that we ran here is not available on PostgreSQL. Instead, PostgreSQL has made it very easy that all you have to do is just a move of your mouse, then open up your database like this, come down to schemas, open up your schemas. Under your schemas, you will see your tables. You see tables, and then you can just, if you want to see the information on the tables, you can see the columns. Like PostgreSQL is very, very easy. At least if you cannot remember the code, you can always remember moving your mouse all around, which seems kind of easy for me. To me, I mean. So you can choose to work between these two variants. They are the most popular. But also, if you are working with other variants of SQL, like I said, the codes you run on MySQL should work on PostgreSQL. But there are some code also that are not going to run unless you perform a little modifications to it. You have to modify, they are the same code, but you have to write it in such a way that PostgreSQL is going to understand. So if you run a code on MySQL and it does not run, if you run a PostgreSQL code on MySQL and it does not run, it will give you the error code, check the error code and see how you can correct the code to attract, to work with PostgreSQL. But it is always in an unlikely case. 99.9% of codes you are going to run on PostgreSQL is going to conveniently run on MySQL also. 99.9, except for some advanced functions that are not available on MySQL, but are only available on PostgreSQL, like the full join. There is no full join on MySQL, but it's available here on PostgreSQL. And I think Union, there are some triggers also. If you go through the the video where I discussed the programs, the codes, the queries that are available on PostgreSQL that are not available on MySQL, you will see some of these things that I'm talking about. So please, that is the reason why you can't skip any video, you can't skip any content. They are all equally important. They're all equally important. So, for instance, I have run my select from customer on my PostgreSQL here, and then I have seen the result. I've seen the result. So if I run the same thing on my PostgreSQL here, now I have selected my use database. I have selected the database that I want to use. Now I can just run my select from customers, just like the same code here. Select from customers. That is, this star means select everything. Whenever you see a star in an SQL code, it means I want to view every available information on that particular table, on that particular data. I want to see every available information, everything in that table is what I want to see. Whenever you see a star in a code, it means everything. And then if I can run the same thing on my SQL, I can just select everything and then run. It's taking a while. Yeah. So look at it here. The same information that I have here, starting with Claire Goods, Darren Van Hoff, and it is the same thing with what I have here, Claire Goods, Darren Van Hoff. So it's pretty much straightforward. Coding is English. Don't let anybody make it ambiguous for you. It's just pure English. Understand the English you're trying to write, understand what you need to do, and then just do it. It's not so deep. Okay, don't let me say it's not so deep. It is only deep if you think it is deep. And it is only simple if you think it is simple. I started with an open mind, so that made it pretty much easier for me to cope with and also understand. So it's going to be very, very, it's going to serve as an advantage on your side if you can also start with an open mind. Coding is very simple and it's very fun. There is a lot of fun to have when you are working with PostgreSQL or SQL generally. So please, if there's any question before we have like 7 more minutes. Anyone with any questions so far? There's anything that you've come across during the course of the week? So please, this is you have the floor, you have the audience. You have the floor, you have the audience. Anyone with any question? Also, you can run a show tables code. You can run a show tables code on MySQL that will show you all the tables that are available in that database. Once you have run your use database, and you can run show tables to show you all the tables that are available on the database you've selected. Then you run the code. You can see all the tables that are available in your Supermats database. So I have only customer table. Oh no. No. Let me use my Supermats. Yeah, so let me run my show tables again. Aha. So I have my customer, product, and sales. But if I run my show tables on ProgressQL, let's see. You can see ProgressQL is telling you that unrecognized configuration parameters tables. So the only way you can view all of your tables in ProgressQL is just with your mouse. Come to your database, come to your schemas, and come to your tables. You see all your tables. Yeah. See all your tables, customer, and all those stuff. But in MySQL, you have to write the code, show tables. And also, if you want, you can also see it manually too with your mouse. Rather than running the code, you can just come to your schemas here at the left-hand side here, and you just refresh your schema, refresh it very well. Then under your schemas, you see every of the databases that are available on this machine. Then you can select on that database and then click on the drop down. You see all the tables, the fields, the stored procedures, the functions, and all those stuff. And even the triggers too. You are going to also get to the triggers function. So you can click on tables so you can see all your table information. But while MySQL has a dual function, you can use your mouse, you can run your code. ProgressQL only have the option of you using your mouse. So, and some other few functions like that are available on ProgressQL that are not available on MySQL that are also available on MySQL but are not available on PostgreSQL. So that is that for today. In the absence of no question, again, guys, is there anyone with any question? And please don't ask any question regarding the project. That one, you can always ask me that one personally in my DM, because I am not going to give you an expo. You are here to be trained, and you need to be drilled very, very well. You need to be to learn how to be comfortable working with a data, or like to work your way up to being a very good data analyst. It does have to do with confidence. So confidence is very important. And also, okay, before I forget, if you're writing a code on MySQL, on SQL, any SQL whatsoever, please always try as much as you can to save your script. Save your script. I have indicated it in the video. So please save your script. You can always send your script to someone, but they will have to create all the database and then have all the informations on the database available before they can run all your codes. So please, that is very, very important. So this is this is all for now. And since there is no question, I will see you guys next week by the grace of God. If you have any questions, like I said, please reach out privately. But in the absence of none, you guys should have a very wonderful week ahead and enjoy your weekend too.